Hello, and welcome to Lopes on Movies. My name is Joey Lopes, and today I am joined by Connor.
Hi, Joey.
And Kyle.
Hello.
And we're here to talk about the Oscars again. Yeah, I think we might have said in the last episode that was going to be our final Oscars-based episode. I don't remember.
I think actually you said that we are going to talk about a recap of all of our takes on all the bad things that happen and and complain about them.
Oh,
yeah,
I did say that. Okay,
I think that's actually what you said.
Oh, yeah. Good. So this episode that we're doing is not a cop-out. This is what was promised in the previous episode.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay, well, we're here to do a post-Oscars breakdown because, I think this year's Academy Awards was more interesting than usual. So every once in a while you get one of those Oscars shows where everything that wins is the things you either expected to win or didn't want to win, and then you just turn it off and you forget about it. And it was really funny. I was looking at a list of the past decade's Best Picture winners and was pretty shocked and delighted to see that probably 8 out of 10 of those movies I forgot existed entirely.
Yeah.
So
there's a bunch on there that I haven't seen for sure, or that no one remembers at all.
Yeah. So
and
it's pretty
really
awesome
funny.
that the Oscars are so frequently that irrelevant or that useless at determining the year's most valuable film. So what a surprise it was to watch the Oscars this year and see quite a few really, really adventurous and exciting choices.
Yeah, that's the big difference this year, is that there was actually solid films here.
Absolutely. All right, well, let's just get into the big stories of the night. I think obviously the number one story of the evening is, of course, that Bong Joon-ho's Parasite won Best Picture, which there were people saying it maybe could happen, but the vast majority of people and all of the data that we had suggested it was going to go to 1917.
It seemed like a long shot.
Parasites felt like a long shot for a variety of reasons. I mean, a foreign film has never won Best Picture. That's never happened. Well, when I say foreign film, I mean film not in English. It's possible that a British movie. Yeah, I know.
International.
I know.
It's actually international film.
I know for a fact that a British movie has won Best Picture. The King's Speech is a British movie.
One of the all-time greats.
However, this is the first time a movie that is not in English won Best Picture. It's crazy. Obviously, Parasite is a Korean film. So that's, everything was pretty much going against Parasite, except for the fact that it was, obviously a very great movie that had a lot of support from a lot of people.
Yes.
So, if you recall, on our last episode, I believe we said, man, what a wonderful statement it would be to see Parasite win Best Picture. So, man, I'd seeing that happen and seeing Bong Joon-ho and the cast and crew go up there to accept that award for Parasite, oh my God. What a wonderful moment.
Yeah, that was a really... I think this is going to go down as a really important moment in film history. I really hope this is a turning point here.
I would hope so too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very...
especially...
It's very possible that, if you recall, right, you had, Moonlight winning, then Shape of Water winning, two very strange movies. And then the Oscars, the pendulum swung the other direction and gave it to Green Book. So it is a pendulum. Right, so it's very possible that next year we'll see, some nothing movie win for Best Picture. But at the same time, I mean, you can't look at Parasite winning Best Picture and not feel like that is some kind of beautiful moment for just film in general. There's so many people that will be watching the Academy Awards for whatever reason and seeing that this Korean film wins Best Picture, that would never in any universe have gone to see a Korean film or a film with subtitles or a film that they haven't heard of like that, and just give it so much exposure. I mean, there's going to be so many people who are like, what is Parasite? I want to watch this now. And it could very easily turn them on to a whole new world of movies. And man, it would be so wonderful to see going forward the Academy and other award ceremonies starting to recognize a more international film audience, because I really feel like there's so much great work being done all across the world in film. And for so long, the Oscars were very much a local thing. I think Bong Joon-ho even said in an interview at one point, they interviewed him about the Oscars, I think for Parasite, like a long time ago. And he had mentioned like, I'm not really thinking about it too much. The Oscars, they're not a worldwide festival. They're a very local festival, which was a really funny thing to say, because everybody usually thinks of the Academy Awards as such a prestigious thing, but it's really true. I mean, it really wasn't the kind of thing that, other than the best foreign film category, it wasn't something that really reached out beyond just Hollywood. But now we're seeing, like you said, Connor, this could be a turning point. This could be a very, very wonderful turning point.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that this, because Parasite did well the entire year. I remember it kind of was released like had like a small release, and then it got like a wide release like a month later. I'm thinking I saw it probably in October or something like that, but it came out earlier than that also in like smaller like theaters and venues. Like there's like a film club that I was that I saw in New York that I've went to a few times that had an early copy of Parasite, and then this thing just like picked up so much steam, like as as the months went on, and just I think it really could show that a movie like this could generate a lot of buzz and could be economical. So I'm hoping that this is going to be big for like the financing side, and maybe maybe we can open this up a little bit more, and not just throw everything at these franchise films, this IP stuff. I'm hoping, because
hang on a second. Let me take your expectations and bring them back down to reality. We know what's really going to happen here. The answer to Hollywood's answer here is not going to be, wow, a film like Parasite really broke out into the market, we should fund movies like it. It's going to be, hey, let's get Bong Joon-ho on the film to direct Doctor Strange 3.
I know, that's the real problem. Actually, we should probably talk about that, the Doctor Strange 2.
Oh, I'm so upset about that. I don't want to talk about that.
I mean, our one of our favorites, Sam Raimi, is apparently getting the nod to take on Doctor Strange 2.
Yeah.
Which it feels like a betrayal.
But, I wouldn't call it a betrayal. I mean, you gotta understand something. Like, first of all, like if you don't know Sam Raimi, and you should know Sam Raimi, if you know anything about movies, you should know Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi, of course, directed, the Evil Dead movies, and Army of Darkness, Darkman, phenomenal, under the radar original superhero film. If you haven't seen Darkman, you should see Darkman. You might hate it, but if you do, then you're no fun.
And of course the original Spider-Man trilogy.
Yes, the original Spider-Man trilogy. And everybody to this day, there's a lot of haters of the original Spider-Man trilogy out there these days, and those people are nimrods. But people widely regard Spider-Man 2 as one of the best superhero movies of all time to this day, and it's really hard to argue against it. I feel like I think even at this point, if you check like Metacritic, it's still the highest rated superhero movie ever, above all of the MCU, everything that's happened in the past decade. Still Spider-Man 2 at the top. Nonetheless, that was a very different time. That was back when this whole franchise thing wasn't an entire industry. So Sam Raimi, when directing those Spider-Man movies, they were still fundamentally Sam Raimi movies. They weren't just a cog in a machine. They weren't made by committee.
He took a ton of liberties in this. Yeah. Like it was Spider-Man, but he made his own story out of them.
Right.
And had full autonomy over it.
Right. And the fact
until
is,
the end, you started to see little things start to fall apart, which is eventually what turned into what we have now.
Right.
So
exactly. Spider-Man 3 was a harbinger of things to come in a way. A failed attempt at the studio basically taking control of a project away from the director, and now that's just a model for franchise filmmaking. So it's interesting to see Sam Raimi coming to Marvel because on the one hand, he helped create the superhero culture that we have today. But on the other hand, the place where superhero films are today, he's just a cog in a machine if he's directing a Marvel movie. Like he's not the director, the auteur of that movie. He is the guy that shows up on set and does a little bit of what he wants and a lot of what a lot of other people want. So I don't know what Sam Raimi, a super established, wonderful, historically important filmmaker, gets out of, doing this director for hire job.
Probably a paycheck.
I hope it can't just be that, right? Maybe it is.
It's a Marvel movie.
I guess so. I mean, I guess it is. He doesn't need.
Yeah.
This is a guy that came up with the Coen Brothers, and it's like unbelievable. That this is happening.
It is very unfortunate. So you can see there's a parallel timeline here, Connor. On the one hand, Bong Joon-ho winning Best Director for Parasite is absolutely wonderful, and definitely has a lot of exposure for this kind of movie and foreign film and all that. But on the other hand, you can just tell like the evil suits in Hollywood, the Disney people are getting meetings together saying, how can we get Bong Joon-ho to direct Squirrel Man or Squirrel Girl or whatever Marvel properties they have.
Iron Fist.
Yeah, why not Iron Fist? Exactly. So
yeah, I'm going to think optimistically here because this was overall I think this is a very positive. It was a very positive day for film.
It was.
There was a lot of great things that happened. A lot of great movies that were getting recognized, and for Parasite to win, it's a really important thing. I want to believe, and I hope it really does open up things, and I hope it means that we'll get to see more international film in the United States.
Yeah,
and I think can we get into now the next other thing that's really important with Bong Joon-ho, the Best Director category.
Yes.
Okay. Can we go into that? You want to tee it up, Joey?
I would love to tee that up because I think out of everything that happened at the Academy Awards this year, the number one thing that I think will go down in history as one of the just most wonderful Academy Awards moments was Bong Joon-ho's acceptance speech for Best Director for Parasite. I couldn't imagine a more wonderful speech if I tried. Like it honestly like made me feel something, Like you're sitting there watching and it's like this is like really moving, So the basic gist of his speech was he was very appreciative and thankful for his heroes in cinema, the people that made him want to create movies. And the two names that came to mind the most for him in this moment were Martin Scorsese and Quentin Tarantino. So obviously he mentioned that he opened with a quote that I think it was the most personal is the most creative, and then made sure to specify that quote comes from the great Martin Scorsese. And just a wonderful standing ovation from the whole crowd for Martin Scorsese.
Except for Todd Phillips.
Except for Todd Phillips, who was furious. No, that's not true. I'm sure he was.
No, remember he was sitting down. He was still.
He
pissed.
was sitting for a bit, and then he got
up. He got up.
No, I think he's still sitting there.
But Martin Scorsese, he actually looked like he almost welled up a little bit.
Yeah,
it did. It really was a special moment.
Moment, especially because the Irishman didn't really get much love at the Oscars, and in some ways, like it doesn't surprise me. Super long movie. It didn't really resonate with as many people as I would have hoped it would. But Bong Joon-ho is just a guy that loved movies and was inspired by people like Martin Scorsese, and in this moment, he won Best Director while nominated together with Martin Scorsese and Quentin Tarantino, who he mentioned was he loves Quentin Tarantino because Quentin Tarantino is one of the absolute greatest champions of foreign film, in particular Korean film in America. Like there's so many people that never would have seen so many foreign films if it wasn't for Quentin Tarantino coming out and saying, "Hey, you guys have to see this." So it was just so lovely to see.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it felt like it really just came right from the heart. Like it wasn't like pre-orchestrated or anything.
Absolutely,
he was not. He said immediately like he wasn't expecting to get this. He thought that he I think he said he thought he was done after they won Best International Film.
Yeah,
and they were very happy with that, and that was a great moment. Also, it was they were basically a shoo-in for that one. But when he got up there for Best Director. And you could see like he was looking out into the crowd, and right in front of him was Martin Scorsese, and you could see them because those two have like known each other. They've now that they've done the circuit, so they know each other fairly well. And just to see Martin Scorsese, he talked about how when he was a film student, he studied Martin Scorsese's films. Bong Joon-ho is a total student of film.
Yeah,
like, he appreciates it so much, and for him to just totally recognize that Martin Scorsese and Quentin Tarantino are the ultimate champions of film. It's just such a great moment.
It is,
which is why it's like for him to be the newcomer that's getting like propped up into this like this spot that it's just such a great. It was the best thing that could have happened,
and not just not just his like appreciation for Scorsese and Tarantino, but how much he totally deserved that victory. Because Parasite 100%. Resonated so much with so many people, and it was such a like interesting and special movie this year. So it was just this perfect like the sequence of events in the night, just to see all of this come together. Like I really can't even put it into words. Like as somebody that just like has loved movies for such a long time and came into watching movies by watching Martin Scorsese films and a lot of the auteurs from that era, and really learning about movies that way. Like to see the modern era of filmmakers and people like Bong Joon-ho both being recognized for their work and giving back that recognition to the filmmakers that inspired them. It really just like it made you feel something for movies and the place that movies have had in so many of our lives, and the value of film, which is it's easy to like forget about when you just look at the state of movies today, and you see that the auteurs are getting pushed aside for the franchises, and it can get you down sometimes. So when you see like a situation like this where it's just real artists recognizing real artists, and just the passion for movies and the passion there it's very moving. I don't know. I feel like that was just a absolutely wonderful moment to take in.
Yeah, absolutely. It was the best part of the Oscars for sure.
Oh yeah,
100%. Now the worst part of the Oscars was of course Taika Waititi winning Best Adapted Screenplay for Jojo Rabbit.
I thought you were going to say the Eminem song.
Oh yeah, we muted the screen during the Eminem song. Actually, when Eminem,
that's a great song, but the thing is, I don't understand why that was there.
I don't think anybody understood.
No one knows why it was there.
Yeah. I think it was funny. Me and Kyle, we were sitting there watching the Oscars, and we had it muted when Eminem came on, and I was like, "Who is that guy? Is that Eminem?" I was like, "Oh no, that's not Eminem." And Kyle was like, "No, that is Eminem." See, I didn't think it was him because he had a beard, and I'm not used to seeing Eminem with a beard.
Yeah, he looks a little different now.
Yeah, so I was a little bit taken aback. Let me put it that way. It was unexpected to see.
Well, like honestly, like everyone in the the audience seemed very confused too.
Oh man, you should have seen Idina Menzel's face.
Yeah, no one knew what was going on.
Yeah. Does anybody like have like an understanding of why Eminem is there?
I know that song "Lose Yourself." It's from the movie 8 Mile, which was nominated for, like, that song "Lose Yourself" was nominated for Best Song when 8 Mile came out back in like 2002.
Right. Oh, it's the 18-year anniversary.
So I have no idea other than that, though. Like, that's it. That's it. I have no idea.
I mean, it's not like they were starving for performances, right? Like they had
Elton John. They had Randy Newman. Yeah,
they opened with Janelle Monáe. Like there was.
It was.
Did they really need Eminem?
No, I don't know why they. I mean, I'm fine with it. I guess. Like I liked Elton John's song well enough, and I like Randy Newman's song. whatever that
it
is.
was a cute little.
You know, his nice little.
Yeah.
It's just like the other one he's done for Toy Story.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, just like the same kind of thing. They're cute. They're
Although
fine.
I'm a little bit like, I mean, I feel like Pixar just gets like a buy on these things. Like they don't even have to like show up. They just win. Like if they make a movie, they can pretty much feel comfortable knowing that they won.
Pretty
And
much.
I feel like that's
thing.
that's not
That's
fair.
the only.
You know?
That's the only thing that Disney won for, right? Was Pixar? Was Toy Story 4? I guess.
I don't know. Actually, that's a
Well,
good question. That might be it. Actually, yeah.
I hope so. Like that would have been good if that's the case.
Yeah,
'Cause,
I mean, I look at that category all the time. Like another thing I really am passionate about is just animation and the idea of animation in general. And I feel like the Academy doesn't really understand animation. I think their understanding of animation is like, what do their kids take them to see every now and then, and that's it. Like, I didn't see most of the animated films that were nominated, but like, I look at it, like you saw the preview for that movie Klaus.
yeah.
Did you like see how beautiful that looked?
Yes,
Like that was
it
just
looked-
some of the most like unexpected 2D animation to come out in recent memory. And I was happy to see it nominated, but I knew it never had a chance with a Toy Story movie. But like, come on, like let's acknowledge like good work here. You know, let's not just give a free win to Toy Story 4. You know, this is the fourth Toy Story you're giving an Oscar
And Joey,
to.
what have you said before? You know about fours.
What,
You know, I don't know.
I know that I said something about fours. I don't remember.
I think
what
you
it
said
is,
something like, "I won't watch a 4."
Oh yeah. I did say that. Yeah. Four is too many. I won't watch a fourth or a third sequel. Rather, you ended at 3, or you stop. You know.
I think. I mean, that's obviously silly, but I heard a lot of people say that. I didn't see Toy Story 4, but that Toy Story 3 was better than Toy Story 4 also.
Well, obviously.
Which
Yeah,
is just kind of, which is just like weird though that it wins like just because it's there. Like it's I don't know.
It's the Pixar effect. They're always gonna win. They have a monopoly on the Animated Feature Academy Award. It's their it's you know, when they make Finding Nemo 3, they'll probably win for that too.
Yeah, probably. All right, so are we going to talk? Are we going to talk about Taika Waititi or no?
Do we have to? Do we have to sully the great name of this show by discussing Taika Waititi further?
I mean, we've talked about him before, but you know, I think.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. Here's the thing about Taika Waititi.
Here we go.
Okay, so we were talking a lot about Taika Waititi last week and how we were deeply irritated with his answers to a variety of prompts lately. And Connor hated Jojo Rabbit. I have not seen Jojo Rabbit. I've seen some clips from Jojo Rabbit on Twitter, and I can say with confidence, seeing those clips completely devoid of context and having no idea if they work better in the film, they certainly look bad. But again, I have not seen Jojo Rabbit. I cannot make a judgment call on the quality of that film. Nonetheless, I can make a judgment call on Taika Waititi kind of acting like a goon in interviews lately. You know, showing no respect to the heroes of cinema. So it was quite disappointing to see that Jojo Rabbit won for Best Adapted Screenplay when, you know, that's a category that included Steve Zalian for The Irishman. But again, I just feel like, you know, the Irishman won nothing, was nominated for a lot, but won nothing. It's a movie that just, the people that love it really love it and really like it resonates with them in a big way, but everybody else just thinks it's too long and boring. And I think that's really a shame. You know, I don't know how to quantify that any other way, but I think that was kind of the prevailing mood through the night. Was I don't think that the Academy really clued into the particular wavelength that The Irishman was putting forth.
Yeah, which is a shame. So you know what I did, and this is probably a thing worth watching. I watched another like roundtable kind of interview thing. This one was the DGA roundtable, so that's like the Directors Guild of America.
Yeah, sure.
Roundtable. So you have all the best directors. So this one was, you know, it was Martin Scorsese, it was Bong Joon-ho, it was Sam Mendes, Did I say Taika Waititi?
No, but he was
No.
there. I remember.
He was there, right? So, I watched that whole thing, and you could tell like Martin Scorsese was not actually in the room, and the interviewer was good about was asking questions that were specific to their films.
Yeah.
And like more about directing. I don't know. Did you watch this, Joey?
I actually didn't watch it yet. No.
Yeah, I think it's worth it. It's actually kind of cool.
Oh yeah, I love watching
like
these kinds of things.
You can see like a mutual admiration between most of the directors, obviously, and then Taika Waititi was there too. So there was a point where Martin Scorsese had to leave earlier, and he kind of like said something to each one of the directors like individually when he was kind of like sending off. He was like, Bong Joon, like I've seen you a bunch of times. You're great. We'll talk soon. And then Quentin, you know how I feel about your stuff. And then Sam, thanks for everything you've said about The Irishman and all, everything you've said. And then he goes like, and Taika, maybe I'll see you in a couple weeks, referring to the Oscars. And then he just laughed and then just like signed off. Clearly, there is no love lost between those two, which I loved, and Taika didn't say anything at that point because like that was it. He might have just like smirked or laughed or something, but there was an elephant in the room the whole time with those guys. All there. That was one of the things I wanted to see when I was watching that little round table thing, to see if that would come up at all, and that's the way that Marty decided to do it, which I think was pretty great.
What a class act. I love Martin Scorsese so much. What a hero.
I know. He really is great.
It was just the best.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
In that moment,
we are coming up on the end here.
Yes.
So, does anybody have any final thoughts about the Oscars? Kyle, do you have any final thoughts?
Where was Zach Braff? That's what I want to know.
Are we going to talk about that real quick?
Do we really have time to talk about that?
I don't know if we have time to talk about that, but hey, why not? So Florence Pugh, the actress who was nominated for her role in Little Women, and she was in Midsummer this year, is dating Zach Braff. And me and Kyle were looking for Zach Braff in the audience every time they would cut to her. We couldn't find him. And it's like, did Zach Braff not get invited? Like, wouldn't that be kind of messed up?
Like,
that's at least it's not as bad as Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, but it is. Yeah, I agree. But this is Zach Braff. That's the thing. This is Zach Braff.
I'm not going to make any judgment calls on this, but I will say right now I'm boycotting Scrubs for the rest of my days.
So you're not going to watch it at 3 a.m. on Comedy Central?
I'll only watch the Donald Faison seasons where Zach Braff wasn't in it. Like the last season of Scrubs,
like season 13 or something like that.
That
those are the dark ages of Scrubs.
horrible crap. I hope Donald Faison's doing okay.
I think he is.
I hope he's all right.
You know what those episodes are? You know how they call like the new episodes of The Simpsons the Zombie Simpsons? Those are
zombie
like
Scrubs.
the Zombie Scrubs.
Zombie Scrubs. That's exactly what it is. Well, I hope Donald Faison has a great morning. And I hope you have a great morning as well. And we will see you next week when we get back to doing our regular movie reviews. So,
guys, I think what do we think? Fantasy Island next week?
What is that?
Fantasy Island? Look it up.
Oh wait, I've heard
Island.
of this.
Look it up.
All right, I'm not watching that. We'll watch something else.
Okay, so me and Connor will talk about Fantasy Island. Joey will talk about something else.
Oh yeah. All right.
We're done. The show's over. It's over.
Congratulations, Parasite.
Congratulations,
Again.
Bong Joon-ho.
And Bong Joon-ho.
Congratulations, Ford versus Ferrari.